Guys, gals, non binary pals, welcome to another edition of the No Limit Wrestling Show where we are previewing a New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament. As always, I am XAVI and I'm joined by Dylan. Dylan, how are you, my friend?
I'm not too bad. I am a bit sick. My mom
Yeah,
is also sick, and for that reason, I did not make a new background for this episode.
I
So
made this one.
yeah, Xavier picked this one out, and I think it fits. I think it fits the occasion.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I'm here. I'm excited to talk about it. New Japan's in weird shape right now. Their best wrestler, I mean, their two best wrestlers retired and left. Maybe, like that's where
Yeah,
we're at. So I mean, and the other best wrestler also did leave. Uh,
yeah.
one of their best juniors. It's really a weird time for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Um, we have Drilla Maloney still for some reason, but
I can't.
that's about.
I was looking at that post where it was like, "Oh, WWE's potential signing class of David Finlay, Evil, and Hiromu Takahashi," and I was just like, "They don't fucking deserve this. This is a great class." These are all
And
wrestlers I think have had multiple match of the year contenders in the past year.
and think
Like,
about it. Think about it. Now it's potential draft class: David Finlay, Evil, Hiromu Takahashi, and Mary Malenko.
oh my goodness, they're stacked, bro.
They're stacking that shit up. That shit's
Oh my
unfair.
god. But yeah, New Japan's in a interesting spot, if you will. I pitched to you us previewing every New Japan tournament this year, just because we don't really get to talk about New Japan in our respective shows like ever. Um, I think Alex would probably quit if you tried to talk New Japan on Stardom Quest. And me and Beth have talked more New Japan this year than we have in years past, but it's not something like we're covering. Like we didn't talk about New Beginning, like the actual show at all.
Mm.
Um, so I think this was just a fun way for us to, get our New Japan takes out there without committing too much to it. Um, so obviously we're going to start with the cup, and then we'll do best of Super Juniors, G1, possibly the tag leagues if they remember those exist, especially the junior one, because I don't think they have enough people to do a junior tag league. I'm gonna be
Yeah, I'm
honest.
not sure why they haven't swapped back to doing the junior tag tournament. Honestly,
Yeah,
past couple of years, I feel like they just clearly don't want to do a tag league. Like like I think last year people would be much less upset by House of Torture winning if they won a single elimination tournament, and I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it would
yeah.
have worked better, frankly, for everybody involved if they just won a single elimination
But
tournament.
also, I think people were too harsh on last year's tag league.
I
I
agree.
actually
I
enjoyed
agree.
most of it.
But
Uh,
I do think that just like from a structural point of view, it's like
mhm.
if you're going to do that sort of gimmick, you could have just done a single elimination. They've
Oh,
done
for
it in the
sure,
past, and I think you would have gotten more out of each individual pairing in that way.
for
Yeah,
sure. But also, like 5 Togo and Kanemaru tags is like the best thing that company did all
that's fair.
year. So
That's
like
fair.
I'm cool with the tag league. But it was just it's the idea of New Japan's going through this transition period like almost every year, and it's always fun to talk about. And I said this on my private once, and I don't want to come across like an egotistical dickhead, but I feel like me and you can kind of navigate New Japan better than most people that cover it do, just because we've watched New Japan for so fucking long. Like
Yeah,
I think the Access TV episode
10
that
years now.
yeah, it's over 10 years.
Yeah, for you definitely. But
I
yeah,
think it might be 11 actually. But if it's not 11, it's 10 on the dot. But yeah, it's nuts. But that, and I just think we understand. How do I say this in a way where it doesn't sound like we're being pricks? I think this isn't just New Japan. I think this is wrestling in general. I think a lot of wrestling fans and people who talk about wrestling truly don't understand pro wrestling in a sense. Like they understand the good match, like the moves and all that, but they don't understand the storytelling aspect, how to build a match and all that. I think we are just, this is the way I'll say it, making us not sound like douchebags. Me and you are such nerds for the little things in pro wrestling, beyond the moves, that I just think we can give a better outlook, and a refreshing one than most people who probably review tours at a time and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Just because I and also this is probably just from us covering a bunch of different companies. We have the ability to try to see the bigger picture, even if it doesn't get there. We try and at least consider it, which is something that I don't think a lot of people do. But that's brought us here to talk about the New Japan Cup. Obviously, you already knocked on the big headlines. Obviously, there, most of this, like, I don't want to say most of this field, but people that were in this field in previous years are gone now. It's really a fresh New Japan Cup. We have some people returning. We have some people debuting in the Cup. It's just a bunch of interesting things. So before we pull up the graphic and talk about the Cup itself, is there anything that's happened in New Japan so far this year that you want to talk about that or touch on that you've enjoyed, disliked, anything like that?
Um, it's mainly been the tags, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think Shota and Yuya don't get enough credit in a way,
Hmm.
because they're like, on my
Hmm.
match guide, they're already like a top 10 wrestlers, both of them, of the year,
They're a
just
really
because
good
they have
tag team.
two. Yeah, they're a great tag team. They've had two legitimately great tag team matches to start this year. But
I
obviously,
think,
I think
yeah,
I was about to call them young blood. It's been a minute. I
Knockout
think
Brothers.
KOB, yeah, I
Yeah.
think KOB have been so great and have just been like a real, I don't know, a real shot in the arm for the company
Yeah.
that I've quite enjoyed, and it's been something that you have to kind of like keep an eye on, and it
Yeah.
makes you feel like this is something that I want to keep watching in New Japan because, like, we talked about it, it's like David Finley and Evil were two of our guys, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, David Finley was the past year, like he was
Yeah.
like one of the maybe three guys that I seeked out to watch their matches. I'm not a big Yoda Suji guy. If Yoda
Yeah.
Suji was fighting David Finley, I'm watching it. I mean? Like,
Finley, outside of like Evil, I think is the only other wrestler in New Japan. Hiromu for his Noah run, yes, but as far as like full on New Japan stuff, I'm 99.9% sure David Finley, other than Evil, was the only one where I was just like, yeah, they're one of the best wrestlers this year.
yeah,
Like,
that's what
definite.
I
And I
mean.
can say that in full confidence because Finley was amazing last year.
And it's like, I love Yuya. I thought he had a great
Yeah.
G1 and stuff. Like, I like plenty of wrestlers in this
Yeah.
company, but I did feel last year like, it was Finley. Like Finley
Yeah.
was my guy.
He was unreal.
Evil was consistent as well, like consistently an entertaining fixture, especially last year. I feel like he really hit his stride
Yeah.
with House of Torture. So without them, it does feel a bit empty, right? And
Yeah.
I think KOB has been a strong way to kind of fill that void.
Yeah.
Not the strongest, but like there needs to be more because they aren't main event singles guys like Finley and Evil were. But
Yeah.
I have definitely, it's given me some intrigue that looked like it wasn't going to be there as of a couple weeks ago.
I'm glad you actually brought up Shoya, because I think they are a great team, and I definitely think them losing to KOB again was like the right move because I think both of them are flawed as singles wrestlers, but they both can be great on occasions for sure. But they're flawed, and ultimately, and this is the big thing, is neither of them are necessarily over as far as with the crowd. And I think that's one thing that people miss about Yuya Uemura is he doesn't. People like to blame the booing on Shota. If you watch the G1, Yuya Uemura wasn't over. Like there, like heels were getting more cheers than him. Like he wasn't over, and that's just something he'll have to fix over time as he tells stories and gets the crowd more involved in what he does. Um, but also, like they're very weak when it comes to speaking. So they just got obliterated on the mic by Judo and Oscar the
Yeah,
entire feud. So like it made a lot of sense just for KLB to just demolish them, and now they have to do some soul searching. Um, and then with Finley and Evil leaving, I think for me, I think them leaving allows me to kind of disconnect a bit as far as there's not a there's very few options in this tournament that if they won, I would just be like, what the fuck is this? I think I'm just open to the idea of anyone. So it's just, um, I guess that's one of the positive things about your favorites leaving is you get to just watch more freely in a sense. I'm not saying I don't have favorites in this company because I do, but whenever you lose your favorite guys, you're not as inclined to want to see a certain outcome. You're just like, all right, I'm here for the ride. So I think that's fascinating. This
yeah.
field, it's interesting.
Should I put it up? It's
Yeah, go
time.
ahead and put it
It's
up
time.
because, and I mentioned this to you beforehand, looking at this bracket made me realize how many people in this company
That's better.
in the heavyweight front I think suck. But on the other hand, I still like this field a lot. Um,
We'll stick with this.
I think my least favorite thing about modern New Japan in terms of fan reaction is we really had to have full out discourse about the New Japan Cup field. This tournament had like 48 people one year. Like, I don't think it matters who's in the New Japan Cup. It's fine. But with the field, I'll go ahead and how do you want to do this? Do you want to go side by side?
So I was thinking, and we probably should talk about this beforehand.
Yeah,
Um, I was thinking, yeah, we can kind of go, looking at the sides, and then as we like kind of finish up, we can examine how we expect the bracket to go,
yeah.
or we could go match by match and just say who wins and where, if you would like. It's up to you.
We can go match by match on each side.
Okay.
And just kind of pick a
Like
winner.
yeah, we can go match by match. That works.
Yeah. And then we'll give like an overall thought on how
Mm.
we just think the tournament will unfold because I for what it's worth, this is a very straightforward tournament in terms of there's just it really feels like there's quite a few people who can win and would be good choices. There's really no room for error because I think actually I take that back. For me and you, there is very much room for error in terms of a winner, but I think for what they want, there's not many bad options like whatsoever that are realistic. Um,
Unfortunately for me, I believe they are going to make a bad choice.
yeah, which luckily you get time to just relax a little bit because we're going to start on the other side to kick
Hmm.
things off here. So first in the first round match, we have Yuya Uemura versus Great Khan with the winner facing Drilla Maloney. Um, this one scares me on the revelation of Great Khan twerking for Kadani on Twitter
He's a
in
big
the
fan of
sense,
Boss.
yeah, so like he could win. But I am going to just think New Japan's smart enough to have Yuya Uemura win here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yuya over just kind of makes the most sense. Yuya feels like he should be a favorite. I feel like this is the problem, right?
Yeah,
I think
I think there's a lot of people that should feel like favorites.
I think Shoya, like them not winning, while I think that will probably end up being like, oh, it'll probably get paid off in like the fucking tag league final at the end of the
Hmm.
year or something. Um, I think for now, what the point of that was to push them back towards being singles guys.
On one hand,
In
I
this
agree
cup,
with you.
at least, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
think we, I know we're not supposed to, I know we already said that we were going to do this differently. I think there's a very real possibility that Yuya Shota is the final here.
yeah, that's what I was
Um,
actually going to bring up. Is it actually would do a lot for them as a tag team if they were the final.
yeah, I agree.
So that's why I'm not completely crowning Great Khan just yet. Um,
Also, Great Okan, I don't think he likes wrestling.
no,
Um,
he just likes being a weeb.
yeah, like I don't. I feel like if they said, "Hey, you want to win the New Japan Cup," he'd probably be like,
He'd
"Eh,
say
not
no.
really."
He's got this whole incel thing going on Twitter. I
Yeah,
genuinely don't think he likes wrestling.
he's a
So,
strange guy. Like
um,
I guess that's the best way I could put it. But so I don't think that like when you put him in a match against a guy who like has
mhm.
upside like legitimately, I don't think you would have him win, especially
Yeah,
because I don't think he would beat Drilla Maloney, and that's my fear. I don't want Drilla Maloney to be a semifinalist.
I just want to say
Oh fuck! He's gonna. Oh no! I just
I
saw paths I don't like.
I love the fact that Evil left, David Finley left, Hiromu Takahashi left. Three great professional wrestlers with a lot of fans, right? And New Japan said, "It's okay, guys. Drilla Maloney stand," and he got a whole segment in Osaka to say that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, don't worry, we just lost three great wrestlers, but we're keeping Drilla Maloney. And yeah, the crowd in Japan were happy, but here's the thing: New Japan fans on Twitter tell me that the Japanese fan reaction doesn't matter when it comes to House of Torture. So I don't think it matters with anything that they like that I hate. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't care about the crowd reaction
I
for
mean, that's
his
how I feel
announcement
about
of
Sai
staying.
Kamatani.
Yeah,
I'm like, so House of Torture doesn't count, but Sai Kamatani does.
yeah,
Ah,
no, yeah, no. Um, I think it's just so hilarious how that happened. It's like, yeah, three great wrestlers are gone, but it's okay. Drilla Maloney's here. We're good. It's
yeah, it
fascinating,
sucks.
and I do think you have a right to have fear, just because since he did resign with them, they might just see that and just be like, maybe we
And
should
I
give
mean,
him a little.
when you look at this quadrant, I think a Drilla Shingo
Yeah,
quarter feels like a not insane theory,
they
not
love
insane
having
idea.
people wrestle like 8 times. So like
Hmm.
him versus Shingo is very realistic.
That's the problem. Like that's my problem. I feel like Yuya of these three is the one that will make it out um of pools, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it is a bit concerning, because I think it would be better served if
Hmm.
you put Great Khan over Yuya and then Drilla over Great Khan than having
Yeah.
Drilla
Because
over
you
Yuya.
continue the United Empire War Dogs
Exactly.
or Unbound Company thing. So
So like if this is, to put over Drilla, then it is Great Khan going over Yuya, which really sucks as a Yuya fan. You know what I mean? Um but I guess that is kind of an interesting thing, is that like I would say one of the like four
mhm.
favorites that I have, because I think as we said earlier, Yuya versus Shota, I think they would put Yuya over.
Mhm.
That's what I believe, if that was the final. So we have, one of like, the four or five favorites for me,
Mhm.
uh can just as likely go out in the first round as he can win the entire thing. Like
For sure.
I am not particularly, like I think either is incredibly possible, because yeah, I mean, Drilla over Great Khan, then building to Drilla
Mhm.
and Shingo makes sense, even though I
Yeah.
wouldn't particularly like that to be the thing that happens.
Speaking of the married man, we go to the next first round matchup as Aaron Wolf takes on Don Fale with the winner facing Shingo Takagi. I expect Wolf to go over here. However, I'm not ruling out Fale beating Wolf, just for the fact that Aaron Wolf said to Tokyo Sports he plans on purging every single member of House of Torture, which I expect is en route to him getting the belt back from Renarita
Mm.
at Dominion, since they have the primetime TV slot. Um, which I think that's awesome. Anytime they get on primetime TV, he's got to win a belt. I think that's
Fuck yeah.
sick. I think that's awesome. So I'm not counting out Folly losing here because Sakura Genesis and Ryogoku. So I could see them doing a return match there where he beats them, and then you can move to like Udra at Duntaku. You can do a Kanemaru and Togo singles like en route on the road to Dominion. There's a lot of different ways you can go to. However, just because I want to see Shingo Takagi beat the dog shit out of Aaron Wolf, I want Aaron Wolf to go over.
Yeah, I think that
I think it's so fascinating. Like I think it's like the
yeah.
most fascinating thing for him on this side of the bracket is Shingo beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, I think you might be overthinking it. I think Aaron Wolf going over all of House of Torture starts with him beating Don Fale here.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's what I like. I said this came from a conversation with Peps. I just want to put that
right,
out
right, right.
there, and I told him I expected him to just beat Fale.
Mhm. No, I agree, and I think that leads to and I think I heard this on Ring Post Radio, from friend of the show Scotty Wrestling and Ryan Knightsey. Um, Wolf versus Takagi is something that like feels like a match that people want to see, because we haven't seen Wolf outside of a House of Torture match in singles yet.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
I maybe even in tags. Like I think they've been pretty much exclusively paired together since
yes.
he
No,
started.
actually he's had one match where he didn't face House of Torture, but I don't think it was televised.
See, yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like even in tags, we haven't gotten
Yeah,
Aaron Wolf in like a straight up match.
yeah,
So I think that is another reason why I think Aaron Wolf versus Don Fale is like an interesting match, and like a match that
yeah,
I think will have people on the edge of the seats. I honestly expect that to be like like a fun match,
yeah. No,
because I think Fale uh, is bad, especially in the year of our Lord 2026. But
mhm,
I think he is smart enough, and I think there's enough shenanigans they could do that it'll make it kind of like
mhm,
a car crash interesting match, sort of, so to speak.
yeah,
And I usually like seeing Don Fale get beat. Like I thought
yeah,
him and Oleg, when
yeah,
Bolton beat him last year, I thought that was like cool. Like that was
yeah.
a well done little thing. So I think Aaron Wolf over Don Fale will be fun. And yeah,
Mhm.
I'm interested in Wolf versus Takagi. I feel like that could go either way, truthfully. Um, especially because when I first looked at these brackets, I was kind of expecting a Wolf Oleg semifinal.
Yeah,
If you know, depending on how
I
we're
originally had
slotting them.
Wolf Narita here, but I expect them to go a different route. So,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, no, I can get that. So I think the simple one is Takagi, regardless of how the rest of the quadrant
I think
goes.
Takagi in the final four isn't unrealistic.
No,
He's got super mega baby face shine off of being married. So
I think Shingo certainly in top 8 makes sense.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Once
Even if he
again,
doesn't get
but
the
once
4.
again, if we're talking about the possibility, it's him and Drilla. I 110% think Shingo makes the most sense going off
Oh
to the
yeah.
final four.
Oh, 100%. I think we will either see. I would agree. I think Shingo over Wolf, and then we get to Shingo and Yuya, or Shingo and Drilla, which we'll talk about
Yeah,
later, I suppose, because we could do the finals, final stuff a little bit later. But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. Probably Shingo over Wolf. I could see Wolf just like kind of winning the whole thing at this point. Like you really don't know what they want to do with Wolf yet. That's kind of
yeah.
what this tournament's about in
Well,
a certain
the idea
way.
that he's just paired with House of Torture just shows me they want to be careful with him, so they're gonna put him with people that are going to try to make him look good the best they can.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
And then we get into the next first round match, which is Taichi versus Ren Narita. I like the match they had like 2 years ago, so I'm excited to see how this one goes. With the winner facing Tomohiro Ishii. All love and respect to the Black Saints. I thought their G1 play in was awesome. I'm cool with not seeing Ishii versus Taichi again. um, I think Narita and Ishii faced in the New Japan World TV Championship tournament. I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure they did. But once again, like I said,
Yeah, they did.
I liked Ren versus Taichi from 2 years ago, and I think Ren's a better wrestler now than he was then. So hopefully they get some time to cook, and I expect Narita to just go to the quarters and lose to the man from Kazakhstan. The man from Kazakhstan. That's a mouthful. Um, but yeah, I think it's just pretty straightforward. I don't have any overthinking here. I think Narita just kind of plows through this section.
I could see it. I think there is an interesting avenue they can go down with a Taichi challenge of Narita, especially because I think that would open things up for Bolton Oleg to make it further than the Never Belt.
I think that's bad for Narita.
Well, why?
He just became leader. He's losing a fucking Taichi first round, who I love Taichi, but brother, booking
I
wise,
suppose.
that's bad.
Yeah, but I think it's my thinking here is I think a Taichi challenge against Narita is a interesting choice. Like I think that is much more like okay, not even out there because Taichi is a never type at this point, and
Mhm.
has been since he became a heavyweight. But I think so. I think it's an interesting choice, but I also think you know I agree, and we kind of just look at this quadrant as a whole because there's very little I want to talk about in terms of Phantasmo and Hanare. I think
No,
Oleg. Oh,
I do
you
want
have
to talk
good
about
stuff.
it because I think El Phantasmo versus Hanare would end professional wrestling.
Exactly. So I am just going off the assumption and the hope and the desire that Bolton Oleg just kind of makes it to final 8, kind of naturally, kind of simply. I think the issue with Narita beating the Black Saints is that if you want Oleg to challenge for a higher ceiling than Ren Narita, and the Never Belt, I feel like you need to take Narita out sooner. Is my thing.
None of
I'm
that
kind of
matters when Bolton
between.
Oleg's challenging for the fucking strong openweight championship in like 2 days or whatever the fuck. I think it's
He
was it
is.
a couple of days. Yes, he's
That's
challenging
the
for that
thing.
belt in America.
Doesn't Ishii have that?
Yes, they're having a title match in America on the 27th on the New Jersey show.
That's crazy. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
so any talks about getting beyond the never that's out the window. He's challenging for the strong title. That's out the window. That
Okay.
and he's never 6-man champion, so they can also do a 6-man defense in that feud because the house got many trios. Um,
Okay.
But yeah,
See, okay, so point being that because my point in saying all that was that I think Bolton Oleg is one of those dark horse favorites for me for this entire tournament.
dude's
Um,
about to have 2 belts. I don't think so.
that's that. Well, I didn't know that until 2 minutes ago, so he is no longer in that conversation. And I think you're right. Yeah, I think it kind of leads up to Ren and Oleg, in that case. Because yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can have Oleg beat Ren there and get the rematch for the title. I think that makes sense,
Mhm.
all things considered. Even if, and I would hate for this to happen, even if Phantasmo does make it past Oleg and Hanare,
No, 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 no,
uh,
no, 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 no,
maybe we
no.
could finally combine the TV and the never openweight titles
Dude,
because the
Takeshita's
TV
gonna
should
have
not
that. He's
exist.
not gonna hold
Oh
it.
fuck! I I hate that this new beginning show exists.
Yeah.
Like this USA show, like because there are things actually happening on it.
Yeah.
uh Allegedly, but I'm just completely blanking on it because I forget that it's happening. Because I'm thinking like, oh yeah, Ricochet versus fucking Taiji Shimori is happening, and Gates of Agony are gonna lose a tag title challenge. Like that's what I'm
Hmm.
thinking is on this card, not fucking like matches that matter. So I'm kind of, yeah, that kind of threw me off a little bit. You're right. I think Narita over Oleg, or Narita meets Oleg in the quarters, and that's where we'll leave it for now.
For sure. Now we go on over to the other side. We have Yoshihashi versus Jake Lee. This is either going to be good or the funniest match of the year.
Yeah,
And the
Yoshihashi
win,
in form
yeah,
right now.
and the winner faces Goto. First of all, I just want to say Yoshihashi's fucking awesome this year. You mentioned he's in form, but yeah, he's
Did
different.
you see him versus Zach? I know you don't love Zach, but did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
It was
I thought
so fucking
Yoshihashi was
good.
good.
He was so
Um,
good in that.
yeah, I think both members of Bishamon are just on form.
Mm.
However, Jake's winning. So like I want to see a Bishamon match, but Jake's winning. And I don't hate Jake like the rest of New Japan fans, but I just expect him to
Low
win.
key, I think Yoshihashi might pull the upset here.
Unless Goto has mad politics and just goes, hey, I really need to wrestle Yoshihashi, which isn't out of the question. I just think Jake wins, and it's Goto over Jake. So like, um,
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think Goto, gets through this pool.
yeah, for sure.
Um, just because
He
I
had
mean
a
Jake versus, spoilers, Jake versus Newman. Just that doesn't don't do that, please. Um, that is
yeah,
not what we need right now in this world. Like the world has enough pain and suffering. Let's not inflict Jake Lee versus Callum Newman on the masses. Um, so I think Goto does make it through, but I would love to see. I know I would love to see many things, but I would love to see Yoshihashi and Goto
me too.
in a match. I think it would be an interesting one, and it would also, if you just look at like the dates, like that 13th show,
Hmm.
um, it needs a big match, and I think Goto and Lee, I guess, is a big match, but I think Yoshihashi and Goto is a better one. Um,
Yeah,
just because
I
like
mean,
I don't know how you can look at like Newman or Oscar versus Hartley as like this like big time. I mean, you could look at one of those matches as a big time
I was
match.
gonna say I
Let,
think you
let
need
me
to
let me
shut your
recheck my
goddamn
statement.
mouth.
Yeah, let me
I was gonna
recheck my
say I think you
statement.
need to shut up.
The match that probably won't happen. Now that's a main event in any building. But
This main event in my building, buddy.
shit, I agree. But like, so I don't know. I think putting Goto versus Hashi would be like ideal. Would be an
Hmm.
interesting choice. And I don't think Yoshihashi would win that match. But if he did, it would immediately make it like, holy shit, maybe he's just going all the way, and then he loses, obviously. But like that like
Even
kind of
then,
vibe would be really cool to get from
even then,
Yoshihashi.
Goto and Yoshihashi haven't had a match in God knows how long as far as
It's
singles.
been like a decade, I feel like.
It's been pre Bishamon for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Um, but and once again, now Yoshihashi's like great. Like I want to see them have a match.
Yeah, that is a big thing that like is kind of frustrating. Is that Yoshihashi's been good for like a while now,
Hmm.
but they still kind of treat him like he was never good. Um, oh no, so the most recent Yoshihashi match against Goto was in the G1 in 2021. So that was like right as Bishamon was starting.
Oh, but yeah, he's way better now. Like so,
I agree. I agree. I think like what was that? Was that before the Yeah, that was right as that was during the big Never Sixes run, but before the Bishamon like dominance started. So yeah, this was before he was like great, which I think he is now. So yeah, I would love to see a Yoshihashi just run. I just want Yoshihashi to like fucking win a match. That's where I'm at, truthfully. Like just give him a singles win ever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I was watching him
a
versus
singles win
Zach.
of importance.
Yeah, I was watching him versus Zach. I was like, I like Zach. I get why Zach is winning, but like you could just let him win one match. You know what I mean? Like it's not that big of a deal. Just give him something here. Uh and I would love that to come over Jake Lee so we get a Bishamon classic here. But I
Leave
don't
me
expect it.
alone, give me my throne.
Is that it? Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's his thing.
yeah. Goto's winning regardless over the other two. Outside of like crazy circumstances of Yoshihashi beating both of them, which I don't see happening. But Goto's definitely going through from that pool.
For sure. Now we get into the match you're most excited for. We have Oscar versus Callum Newman with the winner facing Hartley Jackson, and I'll let you start off, buddy.
This match pisses me off. Because I really like Oscar,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that he should, similar to Yoshihashi, he should get a win. Like he should just like get a like one win in this
Mm-hmm.
tournament. But he's not going to, and he's going to lose to the much worse white boy in town, Callum Newman. Oscar, and this is going to be a crazy sentiment, and people might get mad at me for this. Oscar reminds me of 06, 06 through like 08 Undertaker. When Undertaker was moving like he
I need
actually
you to
wrestled.
expand because, like,
Okay,
I
so
think they're two different.
okay, very different wrestlers, but
Yeah.
the way that they move as big men is more so my point.
I
Because
get you. I
I
get
mean
you.
we watched
You think he should
the
be the best pure striker in
yes,
WWE?
no, I yes, but no. Get in the Hell's Gate. But no, we watched the Royal Rumble '07,
Yeah.
right? A few weeks ago together.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched Taker in that, and I was like, I forgot that Taker, there was a period of time where Taker could like move and like was like athletic, but like in the way that a big man's supposed to be athletic, and
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like that. I feel like Oscar moves in a similar way to like the the most athletic form of Undertaker. And this is like probably the least athletic we will ever see Oscar. He'll probably get better. Like he's
Yeah.
getting faster every match. You know what I mean? So like that's where we're starting at with Oscar. I am a big fan of his. I think he's going to be great. I think he's probably going to be the next best like white boy in town, right? Uh Outside of Oleg, I think Bolton Oleg it kind of makes that a bit difficult. But I think that more people should be investing their stocks into Oscar, and instead everybody, including the company, is investing their stocks into Callum Newman, which is unfortunate because he is not good. Um, yeah, I expect Callum Newman to beat Oscar here. He is my favorite, my number one favorite
Mm-hmm.
to win the tournament. Overall, I just think that's the most likely thing to happen. I mean, I watched New Year's Dash, and I was like, oh, Callum Newman's challenging Yota Tsuji like immediately. But then Jake Lee did instead. I was like, oh, okay. Callum Newman's just going to challenge a little bit later. I think a little bit later is through the New Japan Cup.
No, I just think he beat Suji for the global, although it should be the real Latino man.
Yeah, that's another thing is that we don't know the results of New Beginning. I would love it if Andrade just won that. I think Andrade
Actually, you
should
know
just.
what? I like your idea. Let him just New Japan Cup doesn't matter. Let Callum Newman win it and let the real Latino man hold the global.
I mean, shit.
Tony Khan won't strap up Andrade. We will.
I agree. Like I don't know. Like yeah, that sounds great. I mean, maybe not Callum Newman winning the cup, but yeah,
He's not
give
winning the
Andrade.
title. I just think him versus Sushi is gonna be hilarious. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But here's my issue. Oscar has gotten really, really good.
Yeah.
For a while there, you could see the clear difference in skill between him and Yudo, but he actively has worked hard to become a good worker throughout Tag League and throughout the start of this year, to the point that not getting him versus Hartley Jackson will legitimately break my heart.
Yeah. That'd be so fun. Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
It like I told you before we started, it's good that they are actually doing a tournament where wrestlers have to lose, and you can't go 50-50 because that was their downfall last year is everybody went 50-50. There were no winners and losers. But it's bad when there's a circumstance like this of where Oscar should win, but he isn't. So um going into the next round match, and let's be real. We know what this is
But
here for.
so
First of
we,
all,
we all agree Callum over Oscar and Harley.
yeah, no, for sure. For sure. They're gonna give him a big push. The Finley win was the indicator.
Do you think Callum Newman's better or worse than Devitt was?
Dude, Devitt was way better than Callum Newman.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Like Devitt severely overrated for sure. But
Yes,
he was way better than Callum
I
Newman.
agree. Because like I mean, I was telling you this. That's like I watched Callum Newman. And I was like, it gives me an appreciation for what Prince Devitt was able to do back in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
just from like a finesse and a physical, like just like from a functional standpoint. I think Devitt had a lot of uh you know issues in terms of like just like the more intricate things of pro
Yeah,
wrestling,
yeah.
but when it came to just like physically like doing things that look cool and doing them well and doing the cool spots and they do the same spots. Callum just took half of Finn's spots and took a couple of Ospreys and does them all worse than both of them. So that's where I get frustrated. But I digress. We can move on to an even worse match. Isn't that fun?
I feel bad for Shota, man. Shota Umino versus Chase Owens. Why? I don't know, man. He's still here. I'm ashamed. He's also a pro ice guy, and that also annoys
Shocker.
me. Yeah, that was the least shocking thing, but also it's just like, brother, God. Um Shota Umino should beat the dog shit out of him, but unfortunately for him, he loses on 314 because due to evil politics, we're fucking back in the cup, baby, and we're gonna be back in G1 later this year. Huge is back, and
You just
I just want to ask the Shota Umino fan base, well, that exists because I know he's very polarizing. If they're watching this video, I just want to ask y'all, what are y'all gonna do on 314 when Yujiro Takahashi beats the dog shit out of Shota Umino in 3 minutes, and we go all the way to the Elite Eight? Like, what are y'all gonna do? Like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw someone on the grill. That's what I'm gonna do. But nah, Shota just goes all the way through, I imagine.
yeah.
So
I think Shota versus Yujiro will be interesting. I will say, considering what
I
we were
like
talking
their
about.
cup match when Shota may or may not have been on the gas.
No, I do too. I do remember thinking that was a fun match. That's why I expect it to be pretty fun. At least solid. I will
I'll let you get
say,
your thought out before because I have a thought, but today.
yeah, I think it's a bit odd that like I feel like Aaron Wolf and Shota should be swapped.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying here? Because it's like you said, because like you
I
said,
just want
Aaron Wolf
Aaron
wants to
Wolf
run
and
through.
Yujiro to do amateur shit on the
Yeah,
mat.
like I think that would be first of all, I think that'd be a cool match, like an interesting
Yeah.
singles match. But second of all, like Aaron Wolf said, he wants to go run through all of
And you
House of
knock out
Torture.
two there.
Yeah, like you knock out the two that won't be in the G1.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
like.
Shit, that's what you think. We're going back in, buddy. We got back in the cup. We're going all the way.
But you get my point that the two that are a bit less connected to
Mm-hmm.
because like John Fowler was Aaron Wolf's first fucking op. Like
Yeah.
he fucking killed him like
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
like that you could run any time. Like that is a match that are very validated to just a match that you can make for any show very easily, and it would make sense as a special singles
Mhm.
match. I feel like booking Aaron Wolf versus Chase Owens just isn't something that they're going to do. Booking him against Yujiro Takahashi, as much as I think it would be cool, as much as you think it would be cool, isn't
I
as
think
much
that's
of a.
gonna happen.
I think
I
it
do.
is. I think it is, but I also think it would have been easier if they just had him run through them, at
Yeah.
least those two, in the cup
Him
instead.
Aaron versus Chase would have been bad. Him versus Yujiro would have been good.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
from their perspective is they didn't want to try to test it with Chase as far as for
I
Aaron
wouldn't
Wolf.
be surprised. I think that's
Yeah.
probably true. Yeah, I could see it. But from a purely story perspective, I do
Yeah.
think that Aaron being over there would have probably made a bit more
I'm
sense.
glad you mentioned this because from a story perspective, people probably don't remember because a lot of people don't remember New Japan Cup from like 3 years ago. Um, It was during that where Shota faced Yujiro, where Shota had revealed to the world that Yujiro was basically his big brother growing up, essentially,
Yeah,
because he was hanging out
yeah.
with the Red Shoes and they would play catch and all that. And I think there's a lot of fun story stuff they could do here when Shota gets past Chase, where like Yujiro could kind of play into that a bit, where it's just be like, hey, yeah, everybody knows our relationship. You already let everybody know, and I just want to say that I'm disappointed that you've just become nothing. You just are so concerned with being liked that you've amounted to nothing since the last time we wrestled. And I just think that's something they could really just drill in, and it would be a nice little, added layer to show the story to continue to like come through the rubble, if you will. They're not going to do that because I'm a genius
Through
and
the mud,
Gato's not,
if you will.
but it would make a lot of
Out
sense
the
for
mud.
them to just play in that. Yeah, out the mud. Shota Umino is actually
Yeah,
his
out
new
the mud,
name.
shut him in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're done with Roughneck. But yeah, Shota just goes through, and then this one is interesting because we have Yudo Ice versus Ryohei Oiwa in the first round with the winner facing a terrorist on the 14th.
Okay.
Um, this is fascinating.
This is probably the most interesting three like opening section, like pool
Yeah,
in the
I
in the group.
I
Because I
saw the
don't
first
know.
round match and I was just like, I like this. I like this a
Yeah.
lot. One of them has to lose. I like this. And hot take, Oiwa should run through this entire quadrant. He should just win.
It's not a
He
hot take. Everybody knows you. You think
It's
that
not a
Oiwa
hot
should
take
just
for me, but
win everything.
no, I think Oiwa should be the bro. I was on Oiwa train when he was a young lion, so that's not a
I
hot
know.
take for me. But I'm talking about in the grand scope of New Japan, as far as New Japan fans, because everybody's high on Yudo right now. I think Oiwa should just run through this. He should just, if he needs to get a win over Yudo for the sake of this feud, he should beat Zach because why the fuck should he lose to Zach? Um, and then from there on out, you can do whatever. My
I
original
think
pitch
I go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
My original pitch was him winning the cup. However, I don't think he gets it because he
Yeah.
won the tag league. So I think they might want to like give that to somebody else.
Yeah. I think the best we could do is get Shota over Oiwa. I think that's the best case scenario for
Mm-hmm.
you in terms of like that. Um, 'Cause yeah, I mean like Shota has been paired off with Oscar much more than Yuto, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
like we're like they're waiting for each other at that that quarterfinal necessarily.
If they were wanting to build to another match like that, they would have put Yudo on the side with Yuya.
Exactly.
They're
Um,
obviously trying to move away from that for a little bit.
yeah. So I don't think that we get Shota Yuto. Like I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
would make sense. Unfortunately, I think what's more likely than your pitch is Zach versus Shota. Um,
Can we just can we
Sorry,
stop with this pairing?
I
Can we
agree. I
just
agree.
stop?
They had one good
Legitimately,
match like 4 years ago now, and,
can
and they just keep trying.
can these two just never wrestle ever again? Can we like put that in their contracts where they're not allowed to have singles matches with each other?
Sorry, mate. But yeah, so I think that's probably what I would say is more likely. But I think Shota over Oiwa would be a more interesting choice,
Yes.
for the quarter. And I think that's the most likely choice
I
for the
think
quarter.
Zach wants to
That's
lose to
interesting.
Oiwa. It'll just be the office who'd be like, bro, you got to go over. Like, you just
That's the
gotta.
thing. I know that Zach would like to put over Oiwa in a
Yeah.
singles match.
He said his
I
goal is to get
wonder.
Oiwa the world title before age 30. And I think that's the best idea he's had ever in his life. So,
I do wonder though. I do wonder though if like this. I wonder if Zach would put over Oiwa if he knew Oiwa was just going to lose to Shota in the next match. I think that's where the problem is. I think
maybe.
I think if Oiwa's going to like the final, like
Yeah.
if we're getting Oiwa versus Yuya, that's like a fucking idea. Bam. That's the best case scenario, truthfully. Um, is a Oiwa
Or
Yuya
Oiwa
final.
just fucking runs through Shota because Callum's going to beat him anyway. So,
Also true. Yeah, that's a good point. I could see Oiwa, Calm, which
mhm.
I guess we should probably talk about the top eight now, um, and like what we're looking at for the
Yeah,
finals
for
and
sure.
whatnot. Um, and we could start down here since we're already down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Oi was a good shout. Like
Mhm.
the thing is, obviously, and people have been saying this forever, and it's no shocker that I'm going to say this. We have to we're hoping for a youngin final, right? Uh,
Mhm. Me, I'm not the
Okay,
person to
hoping.
ask.
Maybe not hoping.
I'm not the person to ask,
Well,
but
brother, if I had it my way, Taichi would be in the final, but he ain't going. So it's
he'd be in
whatever.
mine too. I
Yeah,
literally said I would put Taichi versus Yujiro in the final when the bracket drops.
exactly. If
uh,
I had it my way, it would be
in
Taichi
our
versus
New
Yujiro.
Japan Pro Wrestling, things are different. If you're under 40, you ain't getting shit.
I
Hartley Jackson
apologize.
versus Yujiro would be my semis.
Yeah, I apologize to huge. I would probably have
Yeah.
my final be Taichi versus Yuto, because that tickles the itch, man.
Yeah, no, I'm
Um,
a real rider for the old generation, so
no, that's
I
valid.
can't.
That's valid. Yeah, and
But
Hartley
like
gets
if
far
you're
too.
but if you're a New Japan fan, you should probably be
You
asking for the
want
young and
the
final.
young, yeah, you want the youngs. Um,
Not it doesn't even matter if you have an invested interest
mm,
in any of them. It's just for the company's sake. You need a young and final because you need them to elevate these guys because you're losing draws left and right. Like you got
exactly,
to like start establishing this generation more and more as time goes on.
exactly. And so that's why I think like on the left side, I am liking Yuya. I feel like Yuya's the most. I mean, the left
Mhm.
side isn't really like a problem when it comes to youngins. Like I don't think anybody.
You truly haven't hit that driller right, and it shows.
Yeah, that's the problem. Who's young? Like, what are we considering young? Because I also would prefer it not to be an all white final, which it wouldn't be because Drill is something.
He's
He's orange. I don't know.
he's
Um,
orange. Hell, yeah, Dylan.
half the time he's orange.
Brother. Yeah, continue.
I don't know. So it wouldn't be all white, but I would prefer it if someone like a Yuya went through to the final. I was talking about Oleg, but I don't think he's going to make it through. So I
No.
feel like the left side, it's mainly up to Yuya or Takagi, and I feel like you should definitely go with Yuya there
Mhm.
of the bunch. Um, unless we do Aaron Wolf. Like Aaron Wolf is like always kind of like will they won't they? Like do they just want to strap him up and have him be a dog? But then you wouldn't want him to challenge Yoda Suji at um did they do it at Sakura Genesis?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him to challenge at Sakura Genesis. The problem.
Unless they're doing the
So
cup final there, which I don't think they are.
no, the Cup Finals the 21st.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
Sakura Genesis. The Sakura Genesis, then we got Dentaku, and then
yeah,
Dominion.
yeah. So
We got Best of Super Juniors before that, so that means basically get through Dentaku, and then you're kind of coasting until Dominion
mhm.
as a heavyweight.
so that's what I mean. Like I don't know if you would want Aaron Wolf to win this,
Mm-hmm.
lose to Yoda Suji, and then just kind of like go back to status quo. Like I don't know if you would
Mm-hmm.
want to give him that yet. So that's why I think Yuya is the best option on the left. Then on the right, that's where it's a bit more interesting because you do have a lot more heavy players. Uh, like you said, like as much as we want youngins to do well, I would love a Goto final, like because I think
Mm-hmm.
Goto's great still, and I think it's kind of surprising that they just really firmly put him back in his place, like so quickly
Mm-hmm.
after he was the biggest draw in New Japan for a few months in fucking years at that point. So I think that's a bit shocking, but I think it comes down to are we seeing Newman, Umino, or Oiwa in the finals against Yuya? That's what I'm looking at personally.
Uh, First of all, did you know Drilla Maloney is a former Progress Tag Champion?
I did.
Um,
Tag
and
champion?
Red,
I didn't know that actually.
and according to Reddit, so if I'm wrong, it wasn't me. Apparently, Pakistani, Irish, and English.
Oh,
Yeah. So
shot
yeah,
that makes sense. He's
yeah,
mixed. Okay. My
yeah,
bad, Drilla.
uh, yeah. But that doesn't mean you can
I
say
apologize.
everything. I got to side eye him for some things. I'll be honest. But no, what you said makes a lot of sense for all of this. Um, I think everything's just pretty straightforward for me. I think I'm just gonna assume they're not stupid enough to have Drill Maloney go to the Elite Eight. So I think we're just in for Yuya versus Shingo, Ren versus Oleg, and then Goto versus Newman, and then Shota versus Oiwa, and then from there on out, I think Yuya just wins. Um, Bolton wins, and you get the Yuya Bolton Final Four matchup. And then Callum obviously wins. I feel like the Cup final was promised to Callum like last year. It feels like that was promised to him long ago. So it's just about getting him there, and then he beats. Honestly, Shota and Oil was probably the hardest one where I genuinely don't know. Um, I think in this case, Oil could win, um, just because if you is going to the final in my world,
Mm.
and I don't. I think it would be a less hard blow for Shota's story if he didn't just like come so close to the final and then like he goes to the semifinal and he loses, but Yuya makes it. I think if you get him to that stage, they both should just be in. like,
Yeah,
um,
that's fair.
I think if they both get to the semifinals, then they should just be the final.
Mm.
But I know New Japan, and I think they're just going to go all in on Callum Newman. So it's just like
Yeah, see,
he's
that's
destined
kind
for
of
the final.
the
You got,
interesting thing
yeah.
is I think, but I also here's another thing that I'm
Mm-hmm.
also looking at. I could also see. I feel like a Newman win might be better if it is over. Excuse me, big burp. It might be better if it is over Shingo than
Mm-hmm.
over Yuya. And
Yeah.
like maybe I'm just like connecting the dots too much where they don't need to be. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think like, Shingo getting that close and Newman ripping it away from him makes more sense. And it also doesn't put Newman over Yuya yet, which I think is something that maybe they want to hold off on. Um, I don't know. I do think that putting Yuya and Newman in the final would be for the best for
Mm-hmm.
all parties involved, even if Newman is winning, because I think Yuya is one of the guys that I could see really like getting something
Mm-hmm.
interesting out of Newman. I don't think I see that with Shingo. I think Shingo and Newman will have a fine match that we've seen before. Nothing reinventing the wheel at all. I think if you
I
want
think
Newman to look
Shingo
good,
versus Newman would bring out Shingo's worst habits.
yeah, and I think if you put Yuya versus Newman, you're either going to get like something like really interesting and like, oh, maybe Newman has some areas of his game that we haven't really looked at or really appreciated, or it's just going to be bland and bad. But the
Mm-hmm.
same way, Shingo and Newman would probably be bland and bad too, just in a Shingo way.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
like in a we've both seen plenty of bad Shingo matches. As good as he is,
Yeah.
there are
I
he
think
falls
people
into that.
forget Shingo coasted so hard
Yeah.
when he was in that like Tama feud and then going on past that. Really until like
I
last
saw
year.
I saw Taichi fucking run circles around this guy over and over again.
Yeah, and it
Because
was just pure
he
lack
just
of
couldn't
effort.
care. Yeah. So I've seen Shingo have stinkers, and I think that that would be rough for Newman, right? That would be a rough
Mm-hmm.
win. Even though, like from a story perspective, I do think it would probably make a bit more sense if he beat Shingo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think Yuya and Newman is where I'm leaning towards, uh, especially especially if Yuya's, especially if Newman's winning. I think a Yuya over Oiwa would be
Mm-hmm.
probably better if Oiwa or if Uemura is winning. I think him over Oiwa would be cool.
You
I'm
know,
kind of
brother.
all over the place, but
You know, brother.
what?
It's about that time. We got to lock in a final. We got to lock in a winner. So you got to give me your final verdict. What you rolling with?
Um, I think it's gonna be Callum Newman over Yuya Uemura. Um, I think Yuya versus Yoda, as much as I don't like them as a pairing, is more of a Dominion match.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, funnily enough, I just don't think they're going to give their young guys a tournament. I think they're going to skip again, giving a young guy a tournament because so far what singles tournaments
Mm-hmm.
at least it's just been Yoda. I mean, I guess Fujita if you count him getting best Super Juniors, but nobody remembers that. Um, Including like us who are big junior fans, like
Yeah.
nobody remembers that shit. So like, um So yeah, I think you put Newman over here. He loses it to Sakura Genesis. You open him up for um fucking Osprey lore at Dominion probably. Uh, I would imagine what ends up happening, given that the Osprey thing is happening, which I know you'd prefer not to talk about because it sucks. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Newman Osprey tag match at Dominion where Newman turns on him, and then they run that in the dome
This
in a
company's
singles.
bad, man. It's real
I
bad.
agree. It's certainly not going to make me look at Callum Newman any better. But plenty of people will start liking
They're
him
gonna eat it
because
up.
yeah, a lot of people are going to eat that shit up. But so I imagine that I imagine that we're focusing on that for Newman on the bigger shows, is the Osprey stuff. So I think what we get here is we get Newman in winning the New Japan Cup, loses to Yoda, and then Yuya challenges at Dominion, or Shota challenges at Dominion for that matter. And I think that's where we're going with it instead of Yuya challenging at Genesis. Um, I think that's what we're looking at here. And I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I don't like Callum Newman, if you couldn't tell. But like, I think that it wouldn't be offensive. It would make more or
Mhm.
less sense. You know what I mean? Second year in a row that they'd be doing a foreigner winning the New Japan Cup.
You basically said exactly what I was gonna say, and I don't think people want to hear me say that. So I'm gonna throw something out there that's out of left field from what we've been talking about, and that is Hiroki Goto over Yuya Uemura.
Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. I'm here
Because
for it.
Yoda Tsuji said he wants to defend against every World Heavyweight Championship holder now that he's IWGP Heavyweight Champion. The only one with the momentum to do that is Goto. He fucking beasted Oiwa and Korakuen, won the six-man titles, successfully defended them. He's got all the momentum, and I
How
think
we
with recent
feeling when Zach wins?
done, you done.
Yeah.
Um, but Goto's the only one with the momentum to do that, and plus with recent events, I think Yoda Suju would love the chance to just verbally rip apart Goto.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense. I mean, you could always hold off on that because that is a big match. And it's funnily enough, I think he's one of Suji's only good opponents. So you could always hold that
That's what
off
I
to
mean.
a
I think
bigger
I would
stage.
be happy with that because
Yeah, yeah,
I think fucking
yeah,
Yoda and
yeah.
Goto are great together. Yeah.
So that's what I want to pitch, but obviously I'm thinking the same thing as you. They're going to use it to elevate somebody. Um, the only thing that is stopping me from giving Yuya the tournament is that I really don't know where the Shoya thing's gonna go. It's like
Mm.
if he gets this, win or lose, why does he need to keep tagging with Shota if Shota doesn't accomplish anything? So it's just like maybe they just keep being losers together. So like
Essentially.
that's the only thing that's making me hesitant to be like, oh yeah, Yuya's gonna win. But I'm gonna throw out the out of left field of Goto winning just for Suji's recent comments of wanting to defend against former world champions and Goto
Yeah.
being like, "Oh my god, I love Takaki Kadani." So, I but ultimately, I am with you. Them giving it to Newman.
Yeah. I mean,
I think they're just gonna do a bunch of Osprey lore. Osprey's like, "Man, you did what I did. You won the cup and all that. Like, I'm so proud of you." And then Calvin Newman's like, "Oh, you didn't care about me. You went to AW in it." And you know, that's what
that
they're
word
gonna
for
do.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
No, I think that's kind of. I mean that is where I'm at, and I do like the Goto choice. And the main reason why, like the main thing that kind of leads me to believe this is like I'm trying to do that long term storytelling, long term
Mhm.
booking that people talk about. I feel like you're gonna get the Yuya match against Yota at some point, regardless. Um, and you're gonna do. I mean, maybe even that's like maybe you even wins the G1 at that point. I doubt it, but like that, like that feels a bit more.
Mhm.
I feel like you need somebody who's a bit lower. I would love to see Oiwa win, but as you said, I
Got the
think
league, the Tag League. So
yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm like I don't think we're gonna give that to Oiwa.
Now, would that matter to me? No, because I think he's the best of this generation by far. I would go ahead and
that's
give
fair.
it to him. But I'm just looking at it from a New Japan perspective. You got to like elevate somebody.
Yeah. In terms of winners, I do think that Newman, Uemura, uh, Shota, and Goto are like the four possibilities. Like really, like because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even really think about Goto, but I think that is a great shout
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, it's like they kind of put him back in his place a bit, but you could always just have him kind of jump up and win. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
fucking won the New Japan Cup 7 times or something. Not
Yeah.
literally, but like he's
He went on the
fucking
final run because everybody got sick, and everybody's like, you know what, maybe he should just win.
yeah. Goto's just kind of a New Japan Cup fiend. You know what I mean? Like he's just good at this stuff. So having him win to pad uh Yoda's reign would be a good idea. It would probably pop a house for Sakura Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be smart, but I'm leaning towards Newman in terms of where they're going with just everything because
Mm-hmm.
they love their pasty white boys.
For sure, for sure. But I mean, I'm glad we came to a conclusion as far as what we think. We covered some bases. We gave out many different scenarios. Overall, I do think this can be a good tournament if nothing overstays its
I'm
welcome.
more interested in the tournament after we've previewed it because I kind of realized how many moving parts we can kind of see. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I necessarily knee jerk saw that as much as I do
Mm-hmm.
now after talking about it a bit.
No, I definitely agree with you. Um, I think we've done a better job at talking ourselves into all these different avenues than New Japan has in making us think there are all these different avenues. um, so
Essentially.
that's fun, but I'm glad that we were able to cover all the bases and considered everything from all angles. Just don't do anything stupid, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, they gonna.
Uh, it's their favorite thing to do, so yeah, they probably will. But Dylan, you got anything you need to plug or say before we get on out of here?
Not really. Go check out Storm Coast Gold every single week, every single Thursday now because we
Mm-hmm.
changed the days. Um, Follow me on Twitter at xxichiban, 21 the mic number one in your heart. And yeah, we're gonna do another episode soon. Hopefully, we're going to do the Michinoku Pro episode with Peps at some point soon. We have March Madness next month that we're gonna have to get together.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
God, it snuck up on it, bro. It's already
yeah,
March. It's crazy.
yeah, no, I know. So we have that, and like I said, I do want to do the Peps episode. Um, and then from there, yeah, we'll figure some more stuff out. I would love to get more guests on, talk about more
Mm-hmm.
wrestling. We have a draft in the works as well, kind of and by in the works I mean we have talked with Scott and he wants to do another draft soon. So we have plans. Obviously, it's a slow start to the year as usual because we are both busy bees. But doing a little preview for tournaments is something that we both really enjoy doing, and it's something easy. We knock this out in about an hour. It's the beauty of a single elimination tournament.
Yeah, man.
Not a lot to really think about. It's just
It's pretty straightforward.
yeah, it's very straightforward, and that's a fun thing. You could do it kind of quickly, kind of just like get your thoughts out and have a fun discussion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see y'all later. Xavier, close the show for us. Or no,
As
I
for
close
me,
the show.
yeah.
But
As for me, I got nothing going on. Just continue to listen to the Stardust Press podcast. As always, new episode just went up. We recorded it actually like a week ago, but we didn't record this week, so I
about
went
a
ahead and
week
uploaded it
ago.
today. But go check that out. And if I get anything else going, y'all will know by checking out my social media. Obviously at Xaviism with 3 eyes on Twitter, and then on Blue Sky it's just 2 eyes. But other than that, I have nothing else planned. I have something I want to do. I got to get with Scott because he's supposed to be making a graphic for me about it. But I got something I do want to do. Now, will I do it? We'll see. But until then, Dylan.
I need y'all to do something for me and Xavier and the 5-Star Network, 5-Star Wrestling Network. I digress. I need you. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your uncle's bigger brother, who's also your uncle, but
Mm-hmm.
he's physically larger than the
Mm-hmm.
uncle that you see more often. I want you to tell your auntie. I want you to tell your neighbor. I want you to tell the chick that you met at the roller rink when you were like 10, and you guys just got back in touch recently, and you think something might be happening there. You tell everybody you fucking know to listen and watch the No Limit Wrestling Show, the best show in the business. Arrivederci, matane.
Bye bye.